Hello fellow collectors, I hope you are doing very well indeed. Finally, everything has come through that I ordered during NovaMedia's Winter Festival, the December sale that they run each year, where a lot of the things go for about half price, making them just some fantastic deals despite their more hefty shipping. And so I'll take you through each of these individually as I unbox them, but just before we begin I just wanted to quickly mention this one on the top here, which hopefully you can see is smaller and thinner than the rest of them. Because all of these are slip boxes, most of them come in with Scanavo cases inside. This top one, however, is just a slipcover and just on top of a thinner Blu-ray case. It's a copy of Tess, which is an absolutely astonishing film, absolutely fantastic, and one that really stayed with me after I watched it, which is why I wanted to pick it up in such a nice edition. And unfortunately it was not made clear on the website that this is not the same as the rest of the editions that they sell. This is Green Array Media, and I do have another Green Array Media title that is in the same sort of fashion as these, so I was quite disappointed when this arrived. Also, unfortunately, this was all sealed when it came to me. When I opened it up, inside, instead of a copy of Tess, was a copy of Saw, of all things, which is certainly not what I was expecting. Thankfully, NovaMedia were on the job really quickly, and because I didn't have another order that was due to arrive, they ended up refunding me. So unfortunately I don't have the film inside to show you today, but I will take you around the slipcover and I'll try and do sort of a better comparison with the rest of these as well. So without any further ado, let's get right into the unboxings. First up is That Day on the Beach, a film from 1983 and directed by Edward Yang, who also made Yi Yi and A Brighter Summer Day, both of which are available in the Criterion collection. I got another one of his films called Taipei Story from NovaMedia in their sale last year, and as I continue my journey into his filmography, I was delighted to get this steelbook edition of this one. Each of his films that I've seen so far has been absolutely excellent, so I really look forward to this one. This particular edition is numbered and limited. I went for the full slip without the lenticular cover. It has some light embossing on the titles, both on the front and the back, and has a glossy finish. There is also a double lenticular edition that looked pretty great, which is still available from NovaMedia. The steelbook is very glossy indeed and looks great, though there is no embossing or debossing. Next is The Courier, a film from 2020 directed by Dominic Cook, with a stellar cast including Benedict Cumberbatch, Rachel Brosnan and Jessie Buckley. The front has a sort of segregated design with a mostly glossy finish. There is no steelbook in this one, instead it's a Scanavo case inside, but this edition is also limited and numbered out of 700. Apparently, based on a true story, this one follows a businessman that gets roped into some Cold War espionage. Next up we have Riceboy Sleeps, a film from 2022 and directed by Anthony Shim. One that I've heard nothing but very high praise for, but for some reason seems to have flown under the radar a bit. So I jumped on it in this sale, as unfortunately it's not widely available on physical media. There is a matte finish to the slipbox with some light embossing on the titles. Inside is a Scanavo case, but this edition is also numbered and limited. After confirming on Blu-ray.com, it seems like so far this is the only Blu-ray release available worldwide, so if you want to own this one, NovaMedia is where you'll have to go, but there were only 700 copies of it made. I'm very excited to watch this one, and I have the feeling that this might be one that I talk about more fully on one of my future Best of the Month videos. Next up we have The Killer, a legendary Hong Kong action film from 1989 and directed by John Woo. This is an absolutely wild film. The caption on the back says, "One vicious hitman, one fierce cop, 10,000 bullets." Which I think would sum it up perfectly, except that I think it was probably closer to 100,000 bullets. The action here is top tier, with people launching themselves all over the place. It's adrenaline fueled, emotionally charged, and one where you can't look away. The slip has a slightly textured finish, which I'm not sure I like, but there is some gloss over the two main characters on the front and the killer on the back. It's worth noting that this is thinner than usual NovaMedia releases, as the case inside is not a Scanavo, which is usually used for their plain editions, but is instead a thinner Amore case. Then we've got Sin City. I've been looking for a nice edition of this film for a good while now, as all the previous collector's editions are many years out of print, and actually I think this one was out of print for a good while. I'm surprised it came back into stock, because it was actually only added after NovaMedia's sale had already begun, so I'm really glad that I went back to look again after making my first order. There is a glossy finish on a slip box with some light embossing on the title on the front cover. From 2005 and directed by Frank Miller, this is about as noir as film noir can get, or neo-noir I suppose in this case. It's dark, violent, gritty, with a stellar performance from Mickey Rourke in particular. Absolutely captivating stuff. Again, with this edition we have a thin Amore case included inside. Though this particular release was previously sold by both NovaMedia and Kimchi DVD, I don't actually know who the true manufacturer is, as I don't believe it's NovaMedia or Kimchi DVD. Also, one of the discs that's included that has the recut, extended and unrated edition is a repurposed disc from a different Quentin Tarantino collection, which is a bit baffling. Nevertheless, I'm delighted to have such a great film in such a lovely edition. Then we've got Le Parlement, from 1996 and directed by Gilles Mamoni. This one is a romantic thriller, and actually the film where Monica Bellucci and Vincent Cassel met for the first time, who of course later got married, though they are sadly now divorced. The slipbox has a very smooth and pleasant feeling, sort of matte finish to the slipbox, with again some light embossing on the titles. Inside is the Blu-ray in a Scanavo case. Then we have one that I was very excited to get. City on Fire, a film from 1987 and directed by Ringo Lam. Starring again two of the main characters from The Killer, with Chow Yun-fat and Lee Sao-yin, though also known as Danny Lee. The slip has a nice glossy finish on the front, bordered top and bottom with a sort of matte finish, and the back is a matte finish too. Inside is a Scanavo case. A while back when I was first starting to explore Hong Kong cinema a bit more, I bought two titles from Eureka, Wild Search and Full Alert, both of which I thoroughly enjoyed, and discovered they were directed by Ringo Lam. I'd wanted to see more of his films, but unfortunately it turned out that most were quite hard to track down. And I guess the rights must be difficult to obtain because Eureka has only released one more of his since then, called Burning Paradise, though this one is a different genre to the other two. I believe his On Fire series is a fairly famous one, and it begins with this one here, City on Fire, so I am very excited to check it out. And lastly, we have the slipcover of Tess. This edition from Green Array Media is the one that I was talking about at the beginning. Here you can see it is not exactly the same size as the rest of the editions, being instead just a slip cover, not a slip box. So this is the size of a normal Blu-ray, but it houses a thin Amaray case, not the usual standard size that we get in the UK, but instead the usual size that they get in the US. As I said, mine unfortunately had the wrong film inside, so I don't know what's included in the edition. But if this is one that you're after, do just be aware that it does not look the way that it does on their website, which makes it seem more like a standard slipbox and Scanavo case combo. And that's everything from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.